guys, it's Chantel with Wildberry Quilting, and today we are going to be sewing block 6 of the Barnstar quiltalong, which is the Moroccan star. So let's get started. First, we're taking pieces A and B, and we are going to be joining them along the side like this. This is the one that I used for the Northern Tracks quilt. Alright, so now we have our C pieces, which we will be sewing to the tops of our new A and B units. So now we have our D pieces, and we are going to be joining them to the side of our units like this. I'm really so glad that I decided to use my scraps and miscellaneous pieces of fabric to put together this quilt. I feel like it's doing a good job of using up some fabrics that I really loved, but I didn't have any current plan for. So it's a great way to be able to enjoy some fabrics that have just been sitting in my stash for a little bit too long without being loved. Also been a really great way to just use up some of my fabric scraps that I have laying around too. Alright, so now we have our E pieces, and we are going to be joining them to the top of our units like this. The moon fabric is actually left over from a fat quarter bundle that I used to put together a quilt for my daughter, but I had leftover fat quarters from the bundle, and one of them that I couldn't use was this because it was just too low volume for the quilt. And I've just kind of been keeping it off to the side, waiting for the right project to come along. And when I seen that I needed a fat quarter of a white fabric, I thought this was the perfect opportunity to use it. And I think this block is going to come out really cool. It's going to be like a kind of midnight night kind of a quilt. Midnight night. That's very redundant. Maybe a summer midnight kind of quilt. That's probably a little bit more winter. It's probably more winter. A wintry midnight quilt. Ooh, or midnight in the ocean kind of a quilt. Quilt block, I should say. Not the whole quilt. But I just love that, how each of the different stars in this quilt has a very different story to tell. There was one where it made me think of like Bermuda Triangle or something, and with frogs, because I remember I used the frog fabric for that one. This one's like a midnight ocean quilt block. I'm going to keep referring to it as a quilt. Although that would be a really cool theme for an entire quilt. Alright, so now we have our H pieces and our F pieces, and we are going to be snowballing 2 corners of our H blocks with our Fs. Now, if your H is a directional fabric, you're going to be snowballing the bottom of your H fabric with the F. I actually got this kind of strange light blue pixely fabric from a mystery box from Pink Door Fabrics. I have a video of me unboxing one of their mystery boxes. Not the one that these came in, but still kind of gives you an idea of what they have in there. Now, I don't know whether they have any available anymore. They have been out of stock of them for quite some time. I know when I posted mine, there were a couple of other YouTubers who went out and bought one as well and unboxed them. So you can probably find a couple of different ones on YouTube. I know Holly from Dandelion Stitches unboxed one. Now before I go trim these up, I'm going to snowball my G pieces into the opposite corner. That way I can reduce the amount of times I have to run to the ironing board and the cutting station. So when you're putting together a project like this where you're using a bunch of scraps or fabrics that you've just been holding on to for a while, do you remember where everything came from? Or what project you used things on? I feel like I remember probably 90% of the different places where I've gotten my fabrics or what I've used them for. But I know I've heard some people say that they don't remember where they got fabric from, or that they might not even remember what project they used the fabric on. Alright, so this is what our units look like now, and we are going to snowball the other 2 corners. So now we have the remainder of our F pieces, and we have our I pieces, and we are going to be making flying geese units with these. So now we have these 2 different unit pieces, and we're going to be attaching them like this. Alright, so now we're going to be pulling out 2 of these units, and we are going to be grabbing these pieces, and we're going to join them to the sides. Okay, so now we have these 2 units and we are going to join them like this. Alright guys, now we're joining the piece to the other side. Alright, now our units look like this, and we are just attaching this piece to the other side. So now we are going to be joining these 3 rows. Alright guys, here's our Moroccan star quilt block, all finished. I know this video is coming out a little bit late. I forgot to release it before I left to go visit family. So that means that the next video is probably going to be a little bit later than it normally would be, but I'm going to get it out as soon as I can. Please remember to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you again next time. And Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Bye.